Okay, now we're in the book of Joshua. I say this is one of my favorite books because it's got some good stuff on it. But now, Moses is dead. They're in the land of Shittim, and they're fixing to pass over Jordan. They've got the land separated out for the tribe of Reuben and Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. And they're going to pass over Jordan and conquer Canaan and get their inheritance. So Joshua, the son of Nun, which is out of the tribe of Ephraim, he will be leading them. You got Eleazar the priest; he's the high priest. The Lord spake to Joshua, saying, "His servant's dead, Moses, arise, go over Jordan, and you and all the people, which I do give them, and to the land which I do give them, even to the children of Israel." Now, as the Lord was talking to Joshua, he wasn't talking to him as he was to Moses, where you could like physically hear him, but it's more of in visions and dreams. And then he's telling them the land that they're going to give them, that God's going to give them, from the wilderness in Lebanon to the river Euphrates, going down to the sea, to the coasts. And God told Joshua, "There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, I will be with you, and I will not fail thee nor forsake thee." And he's telling him to be strong and of good courage. For the people he'll divide an inheritance, which the land which he swore to his fathers to give them. And he's telling him again to observe and do according to all the law which Moses commanded them, turn not to the left or to the right, that they may prosper wherever they go. And the law shall not depart out of his mouth, but he'll meditate on it day and night, that he may observe and do all that's written in it. That way he'll be prosperous and he'll have good success. And then God taught him again, "Be strong and of good courage, be not afraid, neither dismayed." For the Lord goes wherever he goes. The Lord's with him wherever he goes. And that's like us today. Things come up, we get afraid of things and stressed out, and we have to learn to have faith in God, because he allows things to come in our lives, but he'll take care of us. But then also there's times where we put ourselves in certain situations, but God can take us out of the situations. So God tells the people to prepare their victuals, which is supplies, food, whatever. 3 days they're going to go over Jordan to possess the land. And the 2.5 tribes that inherited the land on the other side of Jordan, their armies went, but the women and children and all their animals stayed. Their armies went with them and they'll be with them until they possess their land. And he told them, they talked to him, and they told Joshua that whatever he commands them, they'll do. Wherever you send us, we'll go. As they said unto Moses, and they'll hearken to him, listen to him. Only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. They told him, whoever he that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words, in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. So basically they're saying, they're going to go with them as long as, God's with them and stuff like that. So they was in Shittim, and they sent out spies to go secretly view the land in Jericho. And they came unto a harlot's house named Rahab, and lodged there. The king of Jericho heard they was there, so they went after them and went to her house, telling them, "Bring forth the men that come to you." And she said there was some men here, but I don't know where they went. And she hid them on the rooftop. So the men pursued after them. She told them, they figured they was gone, so they ran after them, and they shut the gate. And then the men hid down and stuff, and she told them I know the Lord hath given you this land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that the inhabitants of the land is faint because of you. They heard about the waters in the Red Sea and how they came out of Egypt, and what they did to the kings of the Amorites. When as soon as they heard it, their hearts fainted, and there was no more courage in any man because of them. And she says, for the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and the earth beneath. And she told him, she made a deal with him. Since I showed you kindness, you showed me kindness and my family. So she let him down by a cord and stuff. And they told him put a thread or let's see, line a scarlet thread in the window. That way they won't go in and kill them and touch them when they come to the land. And whoever's in their household will be safe. But if they go out, their blood's on their own head, and they're clear. But it's their fault they came out. So they got in there and hid, and then they went back to Joshua and told him what happened. And they said to Joshua, truly the Lord hath delivered into our hands all the land, for even the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us. Now think about this. Rahab was a harlot. She probably didn't worship God, but she heard of him. She knew his powers. But yeah, she did her own thing. It's like a lot of us today. We hear of God, we hear of Christ and all that, but we just do our own thing. Instead of turning to him, we just do our own thing. So they rose up early in the morning, came to Jordan and lodged there before they passed over. And they basically took the men of the tribes and took the Ark of the Covenant. The priest came up and they touched the water. And then the river Jordan flowed out the banks. It was a big river. And then they touched the water, and then the water stopped. And it's like a heap on each side, basically. And like it was at the Red Sea. And they crossed over, and then one man of each tribe grabbed a stone out of the bottom of the Jordan. They walked over on dry land and built a memorial on the other side of Jordan. And then when the priest came out of the waters were turned back and flowed. And then they had to circumcise the people again. Well, first, all the kings heard of what happened at the River Jordan. And their hearts melted. Neither was there spirit in them anymore because of the children of Israel. So then the Lord told Joshua, he told him to circumcise the children of Israel, because when they came out of Egypt, when they were circumcised, but the second generation's on wasn't circumcised. So they had to circumcise their foreskin, and they waited a couple days so they was healed. And then then basically the Lord told Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off of you. And then they didn't have no more manna. They ate the corn of the land. So there's no more manna. And then Joshua lifted up his eyes and looked and saw there stood a man over against him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said, are you with us or are you our adversary? He said, I am the captain of the host of the Lord's army. I now come. So Joshua fell on his face and worshipped, and said unto him, what saith my Lord to his servant? And the angel told him to take his shoe off, because the place is holy. So now all that's happened, Jericho's shut up. The gates are closed, no one came in, no one came out. Lord told Joshua, I've given you this land, or thine hand, given it to thine hand, Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. So basically what they did was for 6 days, they walked around the city once. The priest, no one made a sound. They had the trumpets and all that, but no one could talk or say anything. And on the 7th day, they walked around it 7 times. And on the 7th time, the priest blew the trumpets, and the men shouted, and the city fell. The walls fell down. So they went in and besieged it, and then they saved Rahab the harlot and all that was with her. And Joshua told them, keep yourselves from the accursed things. All he was to take was the silver, the gold, and vessels of brass and iron to give to the priest for the house of the Lord, the treasury of the Lord. So the wall fell down, they went in, destroyed the city, and everything that's in there. They killed the animals, the men, the women, young and old. They killed everybody, except for Rahab and her mother and her kindred that was in the house. They burnt the city with fire, except for, let's say, the stuff they saved. The gold and stuff and brass. They saved Rahab the harlot alive and her father's household and all that she had, and she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. And Joshua, and then basically it's been a heap, and no one built up a city there because they'd be cursed. The Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country. But there was a man from the tribe of Judah, Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah. He took of the accursed thing, and the Lord's anger was kindled against the children of Israel. So no one knew it but the Lord, and Achan, of course. So then they went to see a place called Ai, which is beside Beth Haven. And they viewed the country, and they told Joshua, there ain't that many people there. We can handle it. All we need is about 2,000 or 3,000 men. And so they went up, and the men of Ai smote about 36 Israelites, and they chased them back from before the gate. Then Joshua rent his clothes and fell to the earth upon the face before the ark of the Lord until the eventide, and the elders of Israel, and they put dust on their heads. They were sad. It was like, why have you forsaken us? Because, I mean, these guys came after them. The Lord told them. And then Joshua said, well, it would have been content on the other side of Jordan. You know, why have you turned our backs? And the Canaanites are going to hear, and they're going to come after us and kill us and cut our name off from the earth. And what will that do to your great name? And God told him to get up. Why do you lie on your face? And he told them Israel sinned, and they took the accursed thing and put it among their own stuff. And so since that happened, they can stand before their enemies, but their backs before the enemies because they had the accursed thing. God told him, I won't be with you anymore unless you destroy the accursed thing from among you. It says, up, sanctify the people, and tell them to sanctify themselves. And they went, and they said there's an accursed thing among them. They can't stand before their enemies until you take it away. So Joshua rose up and brought Israel's by their tribe, and the tribe of Judah was taken, and they found. And then Joshua told Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to God of Israel, and make a confession unto him, and tell me what thou hast done. Hide it not from me. So Achan told him, I sinned, and I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonian garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, and I coveted them. And I took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. So they went and took it, and they found it. They took Achan, the silver, the garment, and the wedge of gold, his sons and his daughters, and his oxen and his asses, and his sheep and his tent, and all that he had, everything, to a valley of Achor. And Joshua said, why have you troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones, and burnt them all with fire after they stoned them. And they raised a great heap of stones over them, so the Lord would turn his fierce from them. One man, his sin affected the whole children of Israel, because he saw something he wanted, and it was a cursed thing. It's like us. The decisions we make affects everybody. Affects our family. Affects our friends. whether it looks like a good decision or not. We have to be careful because our decisions will affect them. So then they went back to Ai and had war. And basically what they did, since they chased them before, they set an ambush. They had a couple of them at the front going toward it, and they had the other guys in the back, the sides of the city hid. And then the men saw them, so they ran after them. All the men of the city ran after them. And then they turned around like they ran from them. Then the other guys in the back ambushed the city and burned it to the ground. And then the men turned around and saw their city being burnt. And they had nowhere to run. They were surrounded, and they all got slaughtered. About 12,000 people died. Like I said, they killed all the women, the children, animals, everything. Except I think in this one they was able to take the cattle. And then Joshua built an altar in Mount Ebal, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded the children of Israel. And they did it with stones, nothing that's been hewn or made, regular stones. And he wrote upon the stones a copy of the law for the people to read and see. And then afterwards he read all the words of the law, the blessings and the curses according to all the law which is written in the book of the laws. There is not a word of the law that Moses commanded which Joshua read not before all the congregation of Israel, with the women and the little ones and the stranger and the conversant among them. So basically he probably read all of Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, a lot of it, I mean, after the war. So now a lot of the kings gathered together to fight with Joshua and all of Israel with one accord. There's about 5 or 6 different kings. Now the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, so they tried to pull a trick. They acted like they was old from a far country and put on old clothes, made everything dusty, and they went to them. You know, these men are Hivites, and God told Moses not to make no league with the Hivites, Hittites, Perizzites, Girgashites, a lot of the people in the land of Canaan. He wanted them killed off because of their sins, of their paganism and all that. So he wanted them killed off. He didn't want them to make a league with them. He wanted them utterly destroyed, saving nothing. But if you went to war with a foreign country that wasn't in that land, they could save the women and the children and all that. But so they went and told him he's from a far country and heard what he's done, and offered him bread and all that and wine. So Joshua made peace with them, made a league with them, and let them live. And the princes of the congregation swear to them. And after 30 days, they heard that they was their neighbors and dwelt among them. They knew they was in the land of Gibeon because they was going to go take that place next. But the children of Israel didn't kill them because of their words that they swore against them. But the people, the congregation, murmured against the princes because they was like, well, we're supposed to kill them, you know. But the princes said, well, we can't touch them because they made an oath. But they said to let them live, lest wrath be upon us. But they made them servants, the hewers of wood, drawers of water, and all the congregation, and the princes promised them. So then Joshua told them, why have you tricked us and telling us you're from a far country when you dwell near us? And he said, now we're cursed. Now you're cursed. There should be none of you be freed from being bondsmen and hewers of wood and drawers of water for the house of my God. And they told him, we knew that you'd kill us all because, we was afraid of our lives because you had done this thing. Now we're in your hands to do what seems right to you. So to them, and he made them servants, and he didn't kill them. And so then the king of Jerusalem heard that they had taken Ai and utterly destroyed it, as they had done to Jericho.